On a Sunday, you watch Sunday lunch, brunch, whatever, with it reminds you of Gypsy Hill, isn't it? Thank you, Simon. Thank you, whatever. Everybody's drinking. They're all like, oh, yeah. People from all over the cosmos of talent, and they're all happen to be in the one place and they don't even know each other. Gypsy Hill. Anyway, coming to the fact that at once I have had ideas about aspiring to be part of that scenery as a presentation. And I think what's really lacking from that scenery these days is actually somebody that has kind of like stumbled through all these kind of abusive sort of zones, gone to unity marches, been targeted under the influence loads of times and been like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. Well, I'm in a courtroom for what exactly? And it's like, provocation and threatening me with a kidnap off the street and a response to it verbally. I mean, you shouldn't actually be in a courtroom being pleading anything. You should just be saying non-consent like Kanye West. But you don't need these things at the time because some demographics, some locations just like to trample some people right into the ground, and you start getting like, why is it like that? Oh, maybe it's because your parentage, like mum is a proud alcoholic and has no intention of changing her ways and enjoying her perception of how she enjoys life because she says, I don't want it, I need it calms me down from here to here. And it's just like, that is all she sees, that's all she hears, that's all she wants. To the point that it's like, you don't matter as much as me having my rights of alcohol. You don't matter as much as me having my rights of alcohol. And what I've noticed, right, and I love it, is that it's such an education. It's like nobody should really judge people on how they want to live their life if they are that adamant. Because the battles have been real throughout the years of trying to stop someone. And I think it does more damage than actually letting someone get on with it sometimes energetically. And you could say, oh, it's a battle. Did you win or did you lose? Because what I really don't like is people with supremacy over this saying, this is my medication. And, anybody that does alcohol has got a problem. Not every alcoholic is the same. They can be perfectly well behaved. Yeah, they can be quite Napoleonic after years of drinking Napoleon brandy. But if their heritage is of that of like France and maybe was brought up on vineyards, their ancestry, and work in the vineyard lands or something, and that's what they do, and make it publicly known that, 7 bottles of wine in Asda and a bottle of brandy every week and go into the pub with your children every week. They kind of expose you to the whole community, it feels like, inadvertently. I don't think anybody in the history of the human race has really felt this much energetic attack. Like, what are they on? One flew over the cuckoo's nest and then beyond. Like, it's like, I don't think everybody has that same exposure to people energetically around everything. And you feel like the menace to me has been very real as somebody from that demographic, and it's dragging you into the ground. It's like, okay, I'm trying to just get on Gypsy Hill, like taking my guitar to the new crossing. You were physically assaulting me as a bouncer. Yes, I had my badge from the O2 and other places, and yes, it was 5-star quality experience. You don't abuse or assault people, and when it happens to you, it's like, what the fuck was that? And then Goldsmithians, little preppy people patting him on the back for playing the drum 1 minute after 10 is what I did as a crime to be assaulted. But then he kept my guitar. But there was somebody else that walked in the pub and you're like, oh, this is relations. And it's probably on his behalf. Anyway, I had to call the police to get my thing back. And then they throw you on the front of the car and put you in cuffs because you're upset. And enough of that sort of stuff happens and you perceive it within a click. Like, oh, this other venue, first day on the job, security, and I've never ever allowed back in since. Why? Because there's a clique of people bullying people that are associated with that person that walked in the pub, and then that assault, and then they're bullying me over Facebook. Are they part of that clique? And was that security guard part of that clique? And you get to thinking like that because she asked me to leave because I looked unhappy. I was unhappy. And I talked passionately outside and was spitting and everything passionately. Not at her. She let me in the next day. But the staff took it upon themselves to abuse me systematically. You're bald, didn't ya? Anyway, long story short, the day that I went to court in 2016 was the same week as that abomination to myself. I was still trying to have a good time uptown at Uni March. And then I got heavily provoked and harassed by somebody and turned around and just swore, blah, blah, blah. Shouldn't have went to court. Point is, it disaffects your pathway in life and whatever. So you need people in that arena to tell you not to let them grind you down because it's quite heinous and quite derogatory and quite life disturbing, and it has a detrimental effect on your working life, because I didn't really pursue security after 2016 with racist, religious, aggravated words and writing on a document. I'm not, and it is what it is. It's what they do to everybody if they catch them in a vulnerable position drinking, which is a legal wear, but they often illegally use it around outfits for sport. Anyway, you need people in the Gypsy Hill with that outlook that can just commonly talk that through that, because it's so detrimental to someone's well-being when things like that happen to you after all the community abuse. That is literally, you're trying to find your voice and they're taking your voice and your integrity along with clicky mentalities. Oh, this one don't bother, this one derogatory. The amount energetic, like ugly, operating all over me at various points has been real. The energetic beauty of which I've found to counter it in my solitude and retreating has been real. And it is what it is. It's all life lessons and pathways. And I'm abundant and more wealthy for them. But at the time, for like now a decade exactly, you could say, it has been the worst possible ride. Probably from choices in our partners, and they expose you to another side of society that you just don't know as a Christian and don't actually want to know. But it's just like, well, you had a lack of a father figure and you were doing things that I perceive as dangerous and wrong, so I'm taking my friend under my wing, and oops, it developed into a bit of a thing. But then you've just like jaded and tarnished my whole perception of what people are out to take or get from you, because it's like there's another variety of like, oh, to be in the club, the crown of a kind of societal royalty, you have to be a certain person of a certain perspective, and it has to be washed, and it has to be thinking that life is about this or this, or it has to be in some kind of club, So yeah, and it reaches from bottom to top, to courts, to police, to whatever. And it's like, is this one acceptably? This person, we have to do this and this, but it's been extenuatingly, exceptionally unprofessional and worse in my case. And then you become a threat to them, are you? Because 2020, whatever they did, arrested me at the airport. Yeah, I was under the influence, but I had a row of seats to myself. I wasn't bothering anyone on any plane, as far as I'm aware. And they arrested me to protect a vulnerable adult. And I'm thinking, are they just using this person that I met at a festival as an excuse? And I'm the vulnerable adult, yeah. Because I don't think what they told me in 2021, arrested me on Bournemouth beachfront for her, was actually the truth either. I think it was all just targeting and discrimination because a person drinks. Now, I was minding my own business, just sitting on a beachfront, when I heard a click on my phone and said, I feel like my phone is being actually monitored somehow, bro. Picking me up at this exact spot. They flew out of nowhere. Let them arrest you. And then it would go that I was being racist on a beachfront when I wasn't actually doing anything other than talking about a record label. And why can't that, if that's the word in the 80s that was promoted and people used to use it commonality wise, then it's a positive indication of a word, and had a conversation about something. But that's all I did with people in a public place, and then walked up the beach and then sat waiting for my brother, and then got arrested out of nowhere for nothing. Quite literally. I was not spitting, I was not kicking. I was like, what the fuck are you arresting me for? As is a common response when people fly at you with body cameras and try to manipulate your image. So that's what happened then. And I've spent 3 days basically in a cell for somebody for sending letters, is what they would have me believe. And the 2 days in a cell was for just sending a birthday card via Funky Pigeon, supposedly. Now, I don't think that person would have probably reported that the following year. And there was multiple reasons for me staying in touch with her. You can't make this shit up. Met her at a festival, taking her home. What felt like a police controlled collision. It was actually in the paper the other day that actually is a real thing. And all I did was signal manoeuvre, and then somebody touched the back of me and then tried to make a claim. But because she took the photo of the thing and then proceeded to slam the door in my face, I couldn't report it. So I lost my vehicle as a result of that festival meet and the police. Have I been compensated for 3 days in the cell and losing my vehicle? Nah. Has this happened? Nah. Has it? A lot of horrible stuff has happened to me through the years. Anyway, it's all been cleared and clarified and all fucking cleared up with coaches and abundance. Oh, thank you for my lessons. But last year, no. Caught this year for it? Just no. Anybody that follows, just no. Just give, well, yes, to the people that follow me and get that Gypsy Hill needs a place in the spotlight and needs compensation, and we'll let it all lie, shall we? Thank you very much.